Hello, this is a video that will help you get ready for your speech that's due on Friday. So let's go over some things here. It says, here are the assigned topics for your informative how-to speech. If you did not submit a request yesterday, I assigned a topic to you. If you would like to switch topics, please submit the sign-up assignment that was due yesterday, and I will consider it. So here you can see second hour, and here you can see 6th hour. Find your name and see what your topic is. Now that you have your topic, you will spend class time today preparing and practicing your speech. Read or print this document below for helpful tips. Also look over the rubric, that means how you will be graded, in that document. You do not need to submit anything today, but be prepared to present your speech to the class tomorrow during your Zoom meeting. So let's look at this document down here. It's a little bit small, so I'm going to use this pop-out button in the top right corner to open this in a new tab. Let me make this a little bigger. There we go. You can make it even bigger by clicking on the zoom in button using this plus sign at the bottom. All right. So it says, tomorrow you will present your how-to speech to the class during Zoom. A how-to speech is when you explain a process or how to do something to your audience. You must provide the reason for doing something and how to complete the process. It's going to be a bit of a problem-solution format. So keeping your audience in mind, think about some of these bullet points. What problems might your audience face? Explain the problem with examples they can relate to. When you're presenting, think about how to present it. Are you going to be demonstrating it using some of the materials that are needed? Are you going to use pictures or just words? You get points for using visual aids, so I would recommend demonstrating it using the materials needed, or if you don't have the materials needed, using pictures. How can you prevent the audience from making a mistake while trying this out for themselves? What helpful hints can you give them? Give little clues to help your audience be successful if, this is a typo, should say if they try to follow your how-to steps. And also mention what makes you qualified to speak about the subject. So is this something that you've tried a lot before and so you're really good at it? Or is this something you've done a lot of research about, so you know a lot about it? Your speech must include an attention getter. An attention getter is a question or an interesting fact that really catches your audience interest and attention. It must include an introduction. This is where you might give some background information about the topic, or even just say, what materials do you need to have ready before you begin? You must include a thesis statement. That's the purpose for your speech. Why are you talking to them about this? Why is this useful for your audience? You must include at least two main points. These are the steps of your how-to. Your process should have at least 2 steps to it, but chances are it'll have more than that. And it must include a conclusion. This is where you summarize what you've just said and then leave the audience with an interesting fact or a story, or why should they go try out these steps for themselves. It's helpful to make an outline to make sure you're covering each step. On page 2, you'll find a sample outline. Keep in mind that it's only a sample, not a formula, so you can't copy it exactly. You need to adjust it to fit your topic. So let's go to page 2 and look at a sample outline. I'm going to zoom out so you can see the whole page first. It's going to be really small because I wanted to fit it on one page. This is what an outline looks like. It has everything that you want to say in your speech, all the words. Okay, if I go zoom back in, you can see I'm starting with an attention getter. I have a question here to try to get the audience's attention. I have my introduction. I have my thesis, and then I go into step 1, and then explaining every part of what it takes to do step 1. I'm not going to read all this to you. You can go and read that yourself. I'm including a transition saying, okay, we're done with step 1 now, and we're going into step 2. And this is all the stuff that's included with step 2. This particular how to build a bookshelf only had 2 steps that had a lot of information along with it. Yours might have more than these steps. I'm ending with a conclusion. What do I want my audience to do? Why should they go try this out for themselves? So that's the outline. Let's go back up here. I'm right here. Remember that your speech needs to be extemporaneous. That is that big word from our PowerPoint presentation, and that means that you should definitely practice what to say, but you should not be reading your speech from a paper. You can have a note card with clue words to keep you on track, but you will lose points if you are reading the whole speech. So we are not going to be using the outline when giving our speech. This is just, the outline down here was just to get our thoughts down on paper, making sure we're covering everything and being really detailed. But you're not going to be using that for your speech. Instead, you're going to condense the information from your outline onto a note card with bullet points to keep you on task. We're going to look at a sample note card on page 3 here in a little bit. Notice that there are only certain words or phrases on the note cards. These are words that will make me remember what I wrote on my outline and help me remember what to say during my speech. If I don't end up saying it exactly the way I had it written on my outline, that's okay. The audience is not going to know that. So let's go look at a sample note card. This was my outline, lots and lots of words. I'm going to take that and only write down a few of those words. These are words that will help me remember what to say. Okay, I'm starting with my attention getter. What was I going to say to get my audience's attention? What are some ways to take care of your books? What am I going to show you? What are some ways to organize your book? Just a few words to help me remember what to say. I'm not going to go over all of it, but you can see that it's a lot shorter than the outline. This is the card that I can actually have in front of me when giving the speech, but I'm only going to glance at it once in a while to make sure I don't leave anything out that I wanted to say. Let's go back up. Right here. Once you have your note card ready, it's time to practice, practice, practice. Make sure that you know what the clues on your note cards mean and what you will say when you see those words. Time yourself to make sure your speech is 3 minutes long, give or take 10 seconds. Your speech is due to be presented in front of the class on Zoom Friday, September 18th during class time. Take a look at the grading rubric on page 3 to see what you will be graded on. If you have any questions, please reach out to me via email. So the last thing we're going to do is go look at the grading rubric right here, and it's really small. I just wanted to make sure it fit on the page. So what we're going to do is zoom in so we can only see what's in the 4 column, because that's what you're shooting for. Okay, you don't want to get 3, 2, or 1 points on anything. You only want to get what's in column 4. So let's zoom in and look at those. So preparation. I should be able to tell that you have rehearsed and practiced your speech a lot. Now you are ready to go. Your introduction, you'll be graded on 4 things. Having an attention getter, clearly identifying the topic, and including some background information or how to prepare for the steps. You have to include your thesis statement, so why are you giving this speech? Your body needs to include detailed steps that are easy to follow. Your conclusion needs to summarize your demonstration, include either a quote, an anecdote, which is a story, or a thought-provoking statement that makes your audience want to go do these steps themselves. And it has to be memorable. I don't want to forget what your speech was about after we're done with class. Visual aids are the things that you're going to use for people to see while you're speaking. So, for example, if I'm making a sandwich, my visual aid would be using actual bread and meat and cheese and showing the steps while I'm talking about them. If I am talking about changing the tire of a car, well, maybe I can't bring my computer out to show that, but I could use pictures of each step or the materials needed. Eye contact. In this case, eye contact would be looking directly at the camera, that we can see your whole face in the, or yeah, whatever, the whole face, body, materials in the camera at all times. Enunciation means speaking clearly and pronouncing each word correctly. If there are words that are hard for you, make sure you practice them over and over so you don't stumble over your words. Pace and flow means not speaking too quickly or too slowly, just the right pace. Volume, speaking loudly enough to be heard clearly throughout the entire speech. Enthusiasm, facial expression and body language needs to show excitement and interest. Even if you're really not interested in your topic, fake it till you make it to get these 4 points. And lastly, your speech has to be between 2 minutes and 50 seconds and 3 minutes and 10 seconds. If it's longer than that or shorter than that, you will lose points. Okay, that is it. So make sure you take the time today to prepare, and I can't wait to see your speeches tomorrow. Bye.